All right, today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do an unscripted and unbiased review of the Dream Router 5G Max. Now, unscripted because I'm not working off of a script. You guys are going to see this thing exactly as I see it and experience everything that I go through as I set it up. Truncated, of course, for time. And unbiased because I am no longer in the Ubiquiti Creator Program. I do not get sent these devices for free anymore. I have no affiliate codes or anything like that, and I have no incentive to make these devices look good. So I'm going to play it straight. Exactly what I experience is what you guys will see. All right, so without further ado, let's get this thing out of the box. All right, so Dream Router 5G Max. Let's see what we get here. We've got a power cable. Looks like a little patch cord. It's a really tiny patch cord. Power brick. We have our little SIM tool right here. If we happen to need that, we might. And then here is the device itself. Let's take it out of the box. All right, doesn't look like there's anything else in the box. And here we have this device. Now, let's take a quick tour around it. So across the front, we have this really nice big touch screen. And around the back, we've got two nano SIM card slots. So it does do dual SIM. I believe it also does eSIM. We'll see that when we open the interface. And then we've got four 2.5 gigabit RJ45 Ethernet ports, of which one of them looks like it has PoE. I can't tell if that's just standard PoE or PoE plus. Let's see what it says in the spec sheet here. Okay, so PoE budget 15.4 watts off that one port, so it is just standard PoE, which means you could probably power up an access point or a camera, just not one of those like bigger access points or cameras that require PoE plus. On the bottom of the device, we have our little reset hole, we have our DC power input, and then we have a micro SD card slot. That is likely for Protect. Oh, and finally, we do have a 10 gig SFP plus port right here that I am not going to be using. So one of the things that I saw when I was researching this product online is that they want you to insert the SIM for the cellular modem before adoption. And I'm assuming that's when you are adopting with the SIM. But if you are adopting sort of the normal way with a hardwired Ethernet connection or like a Starlink or something like that, that you're plugging into RJ45, you probably don't have to have a SIM card in this thing at all. So my SIM is currently over here in this 5G Max. So let me grab that little SIM tool. All right, and we will pull it out of the 5G Max. Now this is a Crosstalk Mobile 5G unlimited data SIM. And one of the things that they specifically mention in the product page here, let me bring that up, is that T-Mobile home internet SIMs are not supported. Now, we are an MVNO. Crosstalk Mobile is an MVNO of T-Mobile. T-Mobile is our upstream carrier. But that being said, we have super high priority on the network, and we are a truly unlimited data SIM built for businesses, unlike something like a T-Mobile home internet. So this SIM, even though it's T-Mobile, it's technically considered T-Mobile business, and it will work just fine in the Dream Router 5G Max. Hopefully, famous last words, right? And so now I have put my SIM into the nano SIM slot 1, and we're going to insert that back into the Dream Router 5G Max. And now hopefully, when we bring it up, it will just connect out to T-Mobile. One of the other things that it says it needs is the IMEI, as well as the, let's see, where was that? Setup tutorials, here we go. So if you look at the video for setup tutorials, all right, so this is a full T-Mobile SIM card, and it does say that the first thing you need is the IMEI and EID. So I have the EID for my SIM card. The IMEI is written on the box on the little barcode label. So if you're looking for those things, that's where you can find it. But it says to get that information, and then you buy the SIM card, insert the SIM card, etc., and then you should be able to adopt it. So let's go ahead and try that now, and we'll start by getting this plugged in. There we go. I supplied power, immediately I saw the bottom here, the ring light up white. There it goes. I don't know if that's going to come through on video, but you can see that it's kind of blinking. See if we can actually see that. Yeah, the bottom ring here is blinking white. We can see the Ubiquiti logo up front, and it says estimated time remaining 4 minutes. So I'm going to turn off the camera, and then we will come back in 4 minutes, and hopefully this thing is ready to adopt. All right, the screen on the front now says it is ready for setup, so I am pulling up the Unify app on my phone here. And right off the bat, I have new device found. So we're going to say set up. Dream Router 5G Max Wi-Fi setup. We'll call it Dream 5G for the SSID. And password's going to be real secure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And connect. And it says it'll take about 2 minutes to get set up. One thing I'm wondering while I'm working with this device is I bet you could still use the 5G Max with the Dream Machine 5G Max as well. I wonder if you plug this into one of the LAN ports, if it will detect this and still use it as a secondary WAN source, even though there's a cellular SIM already in here. I bet it would work, because why wouldn't it? But if you guys have tested that out, let me know down in the comments. All right, setup complete. Go to dashboard. And it detected T-Mobile as the ISP, and it has an IP address. By the way, one of the things that differentiates a Crosstalk Mobile SIM from something like T-Mobile Home Internet or Verizon Home Internet is that those devices are going to give you a CGNAT IP address, whereas Crosstalk Mobile SIMs have the ability to get you a static IP address. Not only, if you don't pay for a static IP address, which we're only charging $5 a month for, you get a real IP address, not CGNAT. But then you can also optionally do a static IP address so that you can actually port forward through your Crosstalk Mobile Unlimited SIM into a device like this 5G Max, Dream Router 5G Max. We were able to successfully port forward through this Unify 5G Max, just this add-on 5G modem, but only after the most recent update. The port forwarding did not work until just recently. I think Ubiquiti caught the fact that it didn't work, and they have now fixed it, but it should work through this device as well. So let's test our ISP speeds right here. And plugged fresh into the device with no setup whatsoever, we are getting 150 megabits down and 48 megabits up on our Crosstalk Mobile Unlimited SIM. Keep in mind that for a device like this, just as with any of the T-Mobile or Verizon home internet devices, this is sitting in the middle of my office surrounded by all of this equipment, right? And ideally, I would want to move it over to a window. Now, the problem with moving a device like this over to a window is that it's now on the very edge of your house. So the Wi-Fi that's broadcasting for your clients is maybe not in the most ideal location. So that's why it's nice to have this PoE port on the back, because you can add in a supplementary access point and actually, hardwire it somewhere else where it's gonna be actually useful to your client devices. I know in my home here, I've got like 3 or 4 different access points throughout the interior and exterior of the home, and that gives me really nice coverage. Whereas if I just had this one device and it was in a window on the far side of my house, it's not gonna cover the house the way that I would want it to. All right, so I should actually now be able to connect to this thing using Unify. Let me log in over here. And I've zoomed it in. Here is my Dream Router 5G site. Now notice that the SIM card automatically went to WAN 3. Okay, so you've got WAN 1 and WAN 2, which are the hardwired ports on the back here. So that's going to be the SFP plus 10 gig port, as well as the port number 4, RJ45. Those are the default WAN ports. I'm sure those are configurable. So let's go take a look at that first. Settings, and we're going to go to Internet. And we can see I have a single internet here, but then I've got other ports down here. And of course, by default, port 4 is WAN 1. and port 5 is WAN 2. Now, interesting thing about this is port 1 can be assigned as one of the WAN ports. And the reason that you'd want to do that is that port 1 is the port that has the PoE output. So if you have a device, I don't know if this takes PoE or PoE plus, but if you have a device that can be a PoE powered WAN source, you can use port 1 as that WAN source and not have to worry about having an extra cable brick or anything like that. All right, now let's take a look at the device view for the Dream Router 5G Max. So here's our ports. We can see my SIM. So this will take, it has a dual SIM modem. So you can put actual physical SIM cards into slot 1 or slot 2. But slot 2 can alternatively also be an eSIM, which, by the way, Crosstalk Mobile can do eSIM. So if you don't want a physical SIM or you have a device that needs eSIM capability, we can do that as well, even with that static IP address. Then we have our stats and settings. So these are all our standard Wi-Fi wireless settings. And under cellular, we can see roaming. So connect to other networks when your carrier signal is unavailable. Additional charges may apply. I believe that's if you have a multi-carrier SIM, which we don't have at Crosstalk Mobile yet, but it's coming soon. You can set a data limit, looks like. So if you are capped at a specific, like these are unlimited SIMs, but some SIMs, like you get a 1 gig or 10 gig limit, or whatever the limit might be for the SIM card, you can lock it down. That's typically when it's being used as a backup WAN source. So if it fails over to the cellular SIM, you don't want it eating through all of your entire data cap and then maybe charging extra fees on top of that. And you can also do a custom APN. Now, custom APN is what we have to do when you purchase a static IP address. You simply check this box and you put in our custom APN, which, let me see what it is. All right, it's iot.cc.static. Apply changes. Interestingly, though, the SIM already had my static IP address. So I think that's kind of something that we set up in the back end, but I'm going to use the custom APN anyways. And then we've got some normal services and whatnot. All right, so other than the fact that this has an integrated cellular modem, dual integrated cellular modems, it's pretty much like any other Ubiquiti gateway. Let's take a look at this front display screen here. This is a nice display screen. They're kind of known for these types of fancy features. If we pull down, we can get our throughput, it looks like. We also have some settings: screen brightness, LED color. You can see we can change the LED color. I don't know how clear that's coming through, but you can change the color of the thing. We got fan. Okay, so there is a fan inside here, and then we have shutdown and restart. About shows us our WAN IP, our LAN IP, and the MAC address, as well as the uptime and the throughput. And besides that, you can't scroll left, you can't scroll right, you can't scroll up. Oops, what did I just click on right there? Cellular? Oh, you can't click on cellular, and it tells you some information about SIM 1, T-Mobile, SIM 2, no SIM. And you can also run a speed test. Let's see, run speed test. It's kind of in a weird position. I've got it lying down on my desk right now. Oh, it's taking its sweet time connecting. Test failed. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so let's see here. We saw that the test did work. Oh, wait a minute. Console's unreachable. I wonder if my custom APN took it offline for some reason. I think we might have to reestablish it in the back end with the IMEI of this device. So let me do that real quick and I will come back. I think that's the problem we're having. All right, so I was actually wrong about the IMEI. It turns out that our Crosstalk Mobile SIM doesn't actually care about your device's IMEI, but when you set a custom APN, you do have to reboot the gateway. So after a reboot, we came right back up on our custom APN, and now everything is working perfectly. And one thing I did realize while I was troubleshooting is that the custom APN setting is not a setting that they surface in the Unify smartphone app. You can only set up your APN and the other cellular settings through the Unify web browser interface. Similarly, it also turns out that you can only change the color of the bottom ring LED through the touchscreen display. That's not a setting that they put in Unify at all, or at least I wasn't able to find it. So, Not really a big deal, but worth mentioning. Okay, so then what are my overall impressions of this Dream Router 5G Max? Overall, I like it, right? Given that it has an MSRP of $499 and the 5G Max add-on cellular device is $399. If you're on an older gateway and you want to add 5G backup internet using a Crosstalk Mobile Unlimited SIM or any other SIM, it's just $100 more to upgrade to the Dream Router 5G Max, and then everything is nicely integrated. If, and that is a big if, it's in stock, which right now it is not. So basically, if you're a small business or if you're servicing small business customers, and those customers know that they're going to want 5G cellular backup, or if they're using 5G for their primary internet, then this is a pretty nice device if you can get your hands on it. Otherwise, you still have the 5G Max Indoor, and this thing works pretty well. Now, for home users, if you're just looking to add some redundancy to your network to supplement your terrestrial internet connection, you already have a unified gateway, your best move is probably not to upgrade to this guy. Your best move is to get a T-Mobile or Verizon home internet solution and then just hardwire it in as WAN 2. Now, yes, those are CG NAT and not a real IP address, but that's totally fine for home users usually. And those are like $50 a month or less, and they can be as low as $25 a month if you're on a promotion and you're bundling it with, your cell phone service or something like that. But the thing to keep in mind is that according to Ubiquiti, those home internet SIMs will not work in these devices. You need a real business class SIM like our Crosstalk Mobile SIMs, and then they work great. That being said, when I put out my video on the 5G Max add-on modem, there were people in the comments that said that their T-Mobile home internet SIMs did work in this device. So take that with a grain of salt. I have not tested it myself, but if you know anything about that, let me know down in the comments. And just in general, I know there's a ton of questions surrounding all of this 5G cellular stuff. So if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments or contact us at Crosstalk Mobile. And if you're looking for a truly unlimited, truly business class 5G unlimited SIM for your own deployments, make sure you go to crosstalkmobile.com. In fact, we just put out our new and improved website with hardware bundles for mobile solutions as well as all of our cellular offerings. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.